Every time you click something, log into a service, or download a file, there's a battle going on. It's happening right behind your screen, totally invisible, but it's raging 24/7. Today, we're going to go behind the front lines and meet the people who stand between us and all that chaos, the guardians of our digital world. It's a pretty important question, right? Because while we're sleeping or working or just streaming a show, there's a dedicated team that is wide awake, watching over the digital world we all depend on. They are the first line of defense, and they operate from a central nerve center called the Security Operations Center, or as you'll always hear it, the SOC. So let's talk about this digital watchtower. That's really the best way to think of it. It's this central command hub where cybersecurity professionals are on guard around the clock. And from that vantage point, they're watching an organization's entire digital landscape, just scanning for any sign of trouble. And right at the heart of that watchtower is the SOC analyst. These are the sentinels. Their whole job is a constant cycle: monitor, detect, investigate, and respond to cyber threats. When an alarm goes off, they are the digital first responders. And believe me, their job is never static. It's this continuous loop of vigilance. We're talking about monitoring security alerts in real time, diving deep into mountains of log data to find hidden patterns, and launching these lightning-fast investigations when something looks off. They don't just watch, they act, responding to breaches and constantly hardening the defenses. So how on earth do they manage this absolute flood of information? Well, they don't do it alone. They rely on a pretty specialized toolkit, all designed to help them cut through the noise and zero in on the genuine threats. Let's open it up. It's a huge challenge, right? A single network can generate millions, even billions of events every single day. No human could possibly sift through all that noise by hand. And that's where their single most important tool comes into play. It's called a SIEM, and it's basically the analyst's command console. A SIEM, which stands for Security Information and Event Management Tool, acts like a force multiplier. It sucks in security data from everywhere: firewalls, servers, devices, all across the network, and then it correlates everything, using smart rules to spot things that just don't look right. So instead of a million meaningless data points, the analyst gets a handful of critical alerts that basically say, hey, look over here. Now, inside that toolkit, you've got two other critical pieces that work together. First is the Intrusion Detection System, or IDS. Just think of it like a watchdog. It sees something suspicious and it barks, raising an alert. Then you have the Intrusion Prevention System, or IPS. This one's the bodyguard. It doesn't just bark, it takes immediate action to step in and block the threat. But to be a really great defender, you have to learn to think like an attacker. It's a huge part of the job. SOC analysts spend a massive amount of time studying the enemy's playbook. Their evolving tactics, techniques, and procedures. A foundational model for this is the cyber kill chain. It maps out a typical attack as a sequence of stages, like links in a chain. And here's the crucial insight. A defender doesn't have to win at every single stage. They only need to break one link to disrupt the entire attack. The attack pretty much always starts with reconnaissance, where the attacker is just scouting the target. Then it moves through weaponization, delivery, and exploitation until they finally achieve their goal. By understanding this predictable flow, analysts know exactly what to look for at each step so they can break that chain. So the kill chain gives us the high-level what, the basic stages of an attack. But to really counter an adversary, analysts have to know the granular how, the specific techniques and moves they use. And for that, you need a much more detailed playbook. And that playbook is the MITRE ATT&CK framework. Think of it as a massive open-source encyclopedia of adversary tactics and techniques. It connects the why of an attack, the tactic, like trying to move laterally across a network, with the specific how, the technique, like something called VLAN hopping. This allows analysts to see weird behavior and map it directly to a known threat, and, most importantly, know how to stop it. Okay, but what about the threats that don't trigger an alarm? The most advanced attackers are masters of stealth. That's why the best security teams don't just wait for alerts to come to them. They proactively go hunting. And this really shows the fundamental shift in mindset. Traditional security is reactive. An alarm goes off and you respond. Threat hunting is totally proactive. It starts with an analyst's hypothesis, a hunch, a gut feeling that something isn't right, and that leads them to actively search for threats that have already slipped past all the automated defenses. And this is exactly why threat hunting is so important. It's not really about automation. It's about the human element. It combines an analyst's experience and intuition with deep data analysis to find what the machines might miss. It's a proactive search for the unknown. All of these tools and all these strategies are built on a foundational philosophy. And in modern cybersecurity, that philosophy is increasingly zero trust. Zero trust flips the old security model of trust but verify completely on its head. The new principle is simple. Never trust, always verify. It starts from the assumption that threats could already be inside the network, which means no user and no device gets a free pass. The core ideas are simple, but they're incredibly powerful. First, assume you're already breached. Second, give users only the minimum access they absolutely need. That's called least privilege. Then, you continuously verify everyone and everything. And finally, you use micro-segmentation to divide the network into tiny little zones, so even if an attacker gets in, they can't move around freely. You see, the work of a SOC analyst is just a never-ending cycle of adaptation. As attackers get smarter using AI and automation themselves, the guardians of our network have to evolve even faster. The battle behind our screens is constant, so the next time you log in, maybe just remember the watchtower and the human intuition that stands as the last best line of defense.